Welcome to our REDEFINED team call for January 13th. First thing I want to do is start off with a nice shout out to Jackie and Leslie for hosting a coach call for those in the newer phases of their business or the re-engagement phases in the business or whatever. Just a real cool way for everybody to powwow. I'm excited to hear how that went. So thank you, girls. I appreciate the initiative. And just if everyone wants to mark their calendars, the second and fourth call of the month, you'll have that opportunity at 8:40. So make sure you dial in to that. If anybody has any current Success Club points, throw them up in the chat, or anybody or anything you'd like to shout out, throw it up in the chat, and I'll make sure to take a peek at that at any point in time throughout the call. So tonight I want to keep it kind of simple. I wanted to do a few takeaways from David Atkins' speech yesterday, which I realized I didn't take that notebook out. But not many, because Jess did record his speech and put it in the tribe or in the Team Fit Dynasty page, so you could check it out there. And a couple of us were there, and I don't want to repeat anything, and it doesn't always translate well when you take from somebody else. But he did have a couple of points that I want to mention. I'm also going to talk you through 6 ways to overcome imposter syndrome, and how they can apply to you in an actionable way. I saw a graphic that just kind of inspired me to make some connections, and so that's going to be my teaching component. And I'm also going to start off with a couple of announcements corporate-wise. Please, first thing, after the call, if you haven't already, Leslie yesterday shared a breakdown of the Super Saturday, Super Weekend announcements. So please go and check that out. It has so much more than I could say. The National Wake Up Call today, and I only listened to a very bit of it, also got into a lot of those announcements, but some important and timely ones. This is the month they're hosting again the Summit Referral Ticket program. So if you refer somebody to get their summit ticket, you both get access to a workout. It'll be an early release workout of the July program that's coming out. So consider that. Encourage your spouses or your friends or other coaches or guests to come and become coaches, or just attend as a guest. They don't have to, well, I guess they would for the referral program. But anyway, the ticket's $165 right now, I think it was, or is it 100? Yes, I think it's 165. So make sure you lock that in so we can all start figuring out our summit plans officially as well. The other thing that's timely is Team Cup. At the end of the call, I'm going to share a quick quiz, quick form, a Google form. Just want to know who's interested in Team Cup, what your commitment level is going to be, and what your lifetime rank is, if you need a team. And then we can just kind of play around and do it from there. I'm even cool doing a randomizer thing or something. So I just want to get an idea so that we don't leave anybody behind. I'm looking at Nadine's face. I am looking at a blank Erica, but I don't want either of you to feel intimidated by Team Cup. It's such a fun experience. There's so many little videos on Coach Office and in Beachbody Champions about it. They're a minute, 2 minutes long with different coaches coming in and sharing their experience. It's just a really cool motivator. It's a great way to get to know other coaches. So everybody should be on a Team Cup team, no pressure, but I will ask if you're going to be a runner, a walker, or a crawler, in this Team Cup zone, so that we can make sure that you're not going to be put on a team with people who are super ultra competitive, but that you're on a team that's going to be super fun for you. Anyway, the other announcement that's not quite timely but was super exciting is that Dallas is coming out with a running and lifting program. It was kind of ironic. Just the other day I was at school. I host workouts after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and one of my male colleagues was in there. No one else showed up. It was just me. It was last Tuesday. And I was like, Andre, will you please just work out with me so I don't have to just stand here by myself? He's like, oh no, I've got a HIIT workout on the treadmill. I'm like, how does that work? And he has Peloton. And so they have these running programs, just like their cycling programs, but they have a bunch of running ones. Oh, he's like, oh, it's great. They also have yoga and HIIT workouts. And I'm like, oh, so basically my programs, but without the running. And now I can say, guess what? We got the running. So we're going to have the running. So I'm very excited as to what that's going to look like. And Dallas is so cute. The other thing that's super exciting is bod groups. I loved every single announcement about that. Leslie knows that I've been kind of complaining about the challenge group platform for a while. I love challenge groups, but I let my own personal ish kind of distract me from my challenge group. And I also just fell back in love with Facebook groups when we did Morning Meltdown. And I just loved the way that that ran, that the app just feels so stagnant. There isn't that innate commenting thread ability. There isn't that easy access for our challengers to kind of interact with each other unless they're going to leave a full comment, or like it wasn't as adorable as a Facebook group can be. And it's going to be, at least it seems like it's going to be sometime in spring when they launch it. You're going to have the features just like Facebook where you can heart, laugh at whatever the posts. There's going to be an interactive heading page for customers when they join in, where they're going to have a video message from you explaining the group and some kind of detail for them. You're going to be able to invite right from the what the heck is it called? The share cart capabilities. You can link right to that to invite people to your groups. It's just creating such a more user-friendly space. You can set up more tracking within the groups as well. So all the nutritionals, everything, not just workouts and shakes, will be in there as well. So it's really going to streamline everything. And what I hope is going to create more of a lively interaction, not a stagnant interaction, but more breath of life within those groups. So that's really cool. Keep up to date as they make those announcements, and get on the ball so that when that happens, we're rolled out and ready to roll. Okay, so that's enough of all the basics. There's plenty more announcements. They talked a lot about 10 rounds. They talked a lot about everything you could imagine, the France launch, everything. It's all in the document Leslie shared. It's all in Coach Office. I'm not here to read an email to you that you guys can all access on your own. Okay, so David Atkins was so amazing and so ballsy and so New York and so energetic. And he made me feel like I needed energized because he screamed into the microphone the entire time that he was speaking. But before everybody came out, he did a little Q&A that Jackie and I got to see because we were lucky enough to have VIP tickets. Not next time, but we were lucky enough to have VIP tickets this time around. And he said a few things there that I want to point out to you because they're not in the video that just shared over on Team Fit Dynasty. One of the things he talked about is that he created for his team easy access to the training videos that corporate has. I forget what it's called. The three things, whatever, what to do in the first 30 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, that kind of thing. He has all of those videos pinned on a quick little landing page, and he sends his coaches to that. And it's innate in his group. He said that they have it's done in a Google form or a Google page, kind of a landing page, pinned to the top of his Facebook group. So every new coach has access to the same stuff. He doesn't do getting started right calls one-on-one. He doesn't do a new coach orientation. They do that, and then they're a part of everything. And it's always there, and everyone has access to it, and everyone's downline has access to it. And I really like that. So I'm going to make sure that we get that going. Another thing that he talked about really is PD and having a culture of PD. And for a while when I was doing the daily posts, and I have worked out that we're going to be starting again next week with, this is something to share. Here's a day for shouting out. Here's something to share. Here's a day for shouting out. I really want to keep one as a PD. And every time I post it, I can't stress enough. If you post nothing else, if you interact with nothing else on the team page all week, I hope to God that on Tuesdays you will come in and tell us what PD you're interacting with that's working, whether it's a book or a podcast. Because if you're not answering that question, I am going to call you out one-on-one, not on the page, and be like, hey, are you not answering it because your Facebook defunct right now? Or are you not answering it because you have nothing to share? Because if you have nothing to share, we have nothing to share on Instagram because we don't have any personal development to give to people, and that's where value comes from. If you have nothing to share because you're not reading anything, you're not growing. If you have nothing to share because you're not listening to anything, you're not developing your brain. You're not developing your leadership. You're not developing your confidence, whatever you need to develop. I don't care if what's working for you right now is a parenting podcast. Share it. That's important. That's content that we as parents can interact with. That's content that we can share to our challengers. So it doesn't have to be you're listening to, Gary Vaynerchuk every day on how to be a great leader. It could be something very personal to your life. I'll be sharing my Dr. Berman sex therapist because I love her. Like, that's it. That's real life. But every Tuesday, you better be posting something with PD, or you should expect a one-on-one message from me wondering what the heck, where's your reading, where's your listening? Because we need to be doing it. It's super important. And he said 2 years into his business, he was just kind of going through the motions, bitter, grumpy, mad because his upline quit 2 months after he signed up. And he just kept blaming and blaming and blaming and shaming and shaming and shaming. And once he took a step back and said, and I shared this quote in my challenge groups today, I stole it from my favorite, I can't remember her name right now, Fitness on the Fly. Oh my God, Jessica Bowser Nelson. You can control two things in your life. In life, you can control your attitude, and you can control what's the other thing. My brain's not even working. I don't know, but your attitude was the most important thing, or your outlook, or something like that. That's it. He changed his attitude, and he dove into personal development, and he said it changed his business. And every top coach that you listen to says that, and it's not a mystery. So we should all be in charge of that. Someone asked him what his best piece of advice is, and he just said, lead with a servant's heart. And what I liked, this is one of the points I wanted to make. If you look at someone and think of how you can add value to them, it will come back to you. So not if you look at them and say, what's the best product for this person? What should I invite them to today? Where will they best fit on my team downline? But if you look at them and say, what do they need from me today? Could they use a recipe? Could they just use a little motivational quote? Could they just use me asking how their day is? How can we add value to people? And if we keep showing up, leading with a servant's heart and adding value, it'll come back to us. And I just really, really liked that. He also said that he does have, his basic invite scripts and things that he can lean on. But when it comes to handling objections, he said you have to go with each convo as it is. You can't use script. You can't rely like that. And you have to know the people. And if you know them, you should be able to call them out on their bullshit if they're using bullshit. You should be able to give them love if they need the love, or tough love, kind of somewhere in the middle, or just know they're not ready and give them time. But if you handle objections well, it's because you've gotten to know the people well. So give it the space and give it the time. And Teresa, I'm sorry for cursing if you've got the teenagers in your car. I apologize. And Stephanie, if your child is around. Anyway, regardless. Anyway, he talked a lot about different things that I really liked. Another quote from his actual presentation that I just wanted to say. He said, this is the year that execution is worshipped. So everybody needs to continue to take action. And when you're not taking action, instead of blaming, you need to confront you. What is it that you're not doing that you need to be doing? Show up every single day. Please go and take a look at the Team Fit Dynasty page if you want to see his full speech. I couldn't even do it justice if I tried. It would only work coming from him. And it's really, really freaking amazing. But one thing he did say that I took to heart is that when you show up at an event like Super Sunday, or you show up at an event like Summit, or you join a team call, or you plug into a podcast, I want you to apply the same thought. You need to change when you leave here. You need to leave here different than you came. And if you approach every page of a book that you read, and if you approach every team event or corporate event or call or whatever, that you are going to change every time you interact with that, it just feels so inspiring and so uplifting. And it's not looking at where we're stuck. It's looking at where we're growing and how we can grow. And we can always find a way to change and always find a way to kind of develop ourselves. So keep that in mind. Now for my piece of the puzzle. All right. I'm going to show you a quick graphic. I'm not going to keep it on the screen because whenever I do anything on my computer fancy, it lags. So I'm just going to give you a second to look at it. If you would like to take a photo of it so you could reference it, that would be awesome. But I'm going to share the screen if that option comes up. Here we go. All right. Yes, please share my entire. Thank you. Okay, can you guys see that? I'm assuming that's a yes. Pretend it's a yes. Wonderful. Right. So yes, cool. So what to do when the imposter syndrome hits? There are 6 facets on this wheel. I'm going to read them to you because I can pretend that you guys don't know how to read, but then I'm going to apply it to something that you can either do in your business or daily that can help you really take this into heart. So take a picture of that, screenshot it, share it, whatever. I have it on a doc or a pic that I can text out to you if you'd like to share it in your team page or anything like that. But I saw this and it just spoke to me. And so I'm going to go break it down one at a time. But before my computer freezes, I just want to stop there. Okay, so the first one that it says on that little screen there, and I lost everybody and I don't like that feeling. It's a full screen here. The first one that I'm going to talk about is to recognize why imposter syndrome is happening and where it's coming from. First thing I should have said is, what the heck is imposter syndrome? So imposter syndrome is when you walk around feeling like a fraud. You walk around thinking to yourself, at some point in my life or in my day or in this hour, in this meeting, everyone's going to realize I ain't who I pretend to be, or everyone's going to see the forest through the trees. They're going to be like, she's not a real leader. She stinks at this, etc. But it's always in our brain. It's not true. People do not think of us nearly as much as we imagine they think of us. And trust me, I'm a person who thinks about people's thoughts of me all the time. I have always been that way. People's opinions of me matter. I know, what a surprise. But I seek approval and I seek opportunities to be good at something and to be recognized for it. It's just the kind of person I am. And as a side effect of that is I'm often thinking to myself, when am I going to be found out? Like, when are they going to be realizing she shouldn't be the one running the call, or she shouldn't be the whatever diamond, or she shouldn't deserve this? And it's a really crappy way to live. It's really limiting. So the first thing you need to do is to recognize why that's happening and where it's coming from. For me, it comes from my people-pleasing mentality. It comes from this idea that my worth has been tied with other people's opinions of me and not my opinion of myself. For you, it might come from a different position. It might come from the fact that you haven't had leadership opportunities. So now this coaching thing doesn't feel like you should be the leader. Like, you're just going to be a coach and let me run a team call, or you're going to be a coach and always run groups with somebody else and never by yourself, or you're going to be on social media sharing your workout, but you could never, ever invite, because what the heck are you inviting to, right? We have these ideas. And once you find out where that comes from, the answer for this one is personal development. And I'm talking about it again, I am, but we need to make sure we are finding personal development that's going to help us become the vision that we have for ourselves. It's going to help us break away from this idea that we're fraudulent. Don't be fraudulent when you know your stuff. You can't be an imposter when you're the expert or when you're the pro. I am not a pro at running calls. I'm not a pro at teaching English. I'm not a pro at anything. But every single day I prepare enough that I can do it to my best of my ability. And if I make a mistake, I make a mistake. Here's an example. Today, this is lovely. In my AP language and composition class, my junior class, last week I gave them something to read. It's called A Modest Proposal by Jonathan Swift. It's like, it's like a dozen pages long, written in Ireland during the potato famine. Okay, a little backstory. It's satire and it's ridiculous. So when the students and I were reviewing it last week in class, they had to read it for homework, find devices in it. We were going through the devices bit by bit. It's satire, it's ridiculous, it's extreme. So no one quite noticed that anything was wrong. And then today they had to do an analysis of it. And I gave them 5 questions and they referenced different paragraphs in it. And one kid's like, I don't think I have that paragraph. I'm like, yeah, you do, count again. Another girl, I don't have that paragraph either. I'm like, yeah, you do, count again. When I photocopied it, I photocopied 2-sided documents as if they were one-sided. And anyone who's ever worked a photocopier knows what I'm talking about. So instead of it being 2-sided copy to 2-sided copy, I did 1-sided copy to 2-sided copy. So my students and I read every other page of A Modest Proposal, every other page in my AP class. My kids who are taking this class for college credits, I did that today. I did in January, not in September. Okay, because I'm human. I'm human, I should say. I'm not inhuman. I make mistakes. We all make mistakes. We laughed about it. The kids thought it was hysterical. They made me feel like it was no big deal. We posted the PDF on Google Classroom, and tonight they're reading the missing pages and finishing it up tomorrow. It happens. It's no big deal. It doesn't mean I'm an imposter and I'm the worst teacher ever. It means I'm a human being and I have blood and breath and bones, and we make mistakes. And personal development helps me to recognize that, making sure I'm listening to PD or reading something at all times. I'm currently listening to something that I'm pretty sure Teresa's already listened to. It's something, oh gosh, I don't know where my phone went, but it's like The Power of Vulnerability, I think it's called, by Brene Brown. It's on Audible, and it is so good. And I feel like Teresa's the one that told me about the gremlins she talks about. Just so good, but find the thing that's going to help you. Okay, the next one really quickly is to be your own hype woman. Once you've dialed into personal development, your affirmations are that, being your own hype woman. And I'm sitting here thinking about Bar Blend. I'm thinking about our affirmation cards and how that each day is your opportunity to be your own hype woman, whether it's the card that Elise picks for you or whether it's a card that you pick for yourself. And if you're not doing Bar Blend, I don't want to assume everybody is, writing down, like Rachel Hollis suggests you do, 10 things that you rock at as if they've already happened. Like, I am a freaking amazing coach. I am the most patient mom there is. Like, just living in your truth and living in the best version of yourself. Be your own hype woman. It is really possible through affirmation. The next one is to talk to your friends who are also your hype women. And I cannot stress enough how much community matters. And I think you all know that, or else you wouldn't be on this call. But showing up like this is one way to do that. Showing up on these calls, joining us for the accountability call, getting our accountability thread that was really rocking for a time back up and running. If you become a part of a Team Cup team, get yourself in a messenger pod with them and communicate frequently. A few of us on here are in a text message thread, and we are texting and leaving voice messages for each other all freaking day. And it lights me up, and it makes me remember what I'm capable of. And it makes me remember I'm not an imposter, I'm just Pam. And sometimes I'm awesome, and sometimes I'm bizarre, and most of the time I'm somewhere in the middle, and that's totally cool. It's awesome when you have people surrounding you that can be that for you. So if you need that to be me, let's keep chatting. Let's be each other's hype woman. It's going to be perfect. Okay. The next one, stop comparing yourself to others. Unfollow the clutter. Unfollow the people that you just can't. You just can't, right? I don't really follow a lot of the top coaches. I follow Julie Voris because she's freaking fabulous. I follow Danielle Natoni because I love her and Darren. I follow Jessica Bowser Nelson because she's great. And I follow Amy Silverman because I just think her life is really fascinating. I really don't follow any other top coaches because I'm not them, and I don't want to pretend that I am. And to be completely honest with you guys, I don't watch all your stories every single day. I watch a few of your stories, but I don't watch them all because personally, our business has to be done building our business, right? And I don't have a million minutes, and I'd love to just watch your reality TV all day, but I can't. And I need to just do my thing. And sometimes I'll be watching your story and I'm like, damn it, wow, Robin posted that. That was so clever. Why didn't I post that today? Or, oh my God, look at what, that recipe that Mindy shared. Or Jackie's at it again. Like, how come I didn't think to do that? And it's not necessary, right? When I start to do that in my brain, I know I'm using this as distraction and not as a tool for good. When I can be on there and be like, oh my God, Jackie, that was so awesome. Way to go, girl. And I don't make it anything internalized. I know that I've gotten my job done for the day. So if you are seeing that in your brain, if you're hearing those words, you're comparing yourself to us or to other people, unfollow people that aren't on this team. And if they're on this team, don't look at their stories. Don't look at them until your business is done for the day. Don't look at them until you're feeling good about yourself. It's okay. We won't cry. It's all good. All right. The next one, know that you don't have to be everything. This really does go back to personal development. I mean, it just does go back to personal development. And my favorite one for this is The Pie Life. I've talked about it before, but it's by Samantha Edis. It is very particular to moms and especially working moms, but the concept is the same, regardless of who you are. The concept is that our life every single day is a pie, and there's 7 slices, 6 if you don't have kids, but 7 if you do have kids, that make you the person that you are. And some days you're teacher slice is ginormous, your coaching slice is a sliver, and your, hobbies is like a little fraction. It's going to fluctuate, and that's okay. You cannot be everything all the time. You can do some things really well every day, and other things have to take a back seat, and that's okay. So use that mentality. Again, dive into personal development. Mastering Your Mean Girl or Girl Stop Apologizing are great books if you really have trouble kind of focusing yourself and realizing you don't have to be everything. And read The Pie Life by Samantha Edis as well. It's really, really simple read, and it helps us break that down. And the last one, look back at your past successes and remember that you can do anything. My favorite part of the Rise Up planner is that she added a book of proof at the end, which is just a place for you to keep track of, to kind of journal your successes and the successes of those around you. So I've really looked at Teresa a lot in the past year and how amazingly she's handled things. And I know there are times and days and minutes where she does not feel like she's handling things. I know that because I talk to her every day. But to me, she does. She shows up every day for everyone who needs her. She's making time for herself. She's had a sense of humor and an authenticity through it all. She is proof to me that a woman can do anything. And there have been things in my own life that I hold on to, and remember them. You are your own book of proof. We on this call are your book of proof, and we really can do anything. And keeping track of those somehow is a real, real helpful thing. Okay, that's all of those. I need a drink. Hold on. All right, here's what we're going to do now. We have our little action item. It's a 3-part action item. I already talked about one of them. After the call, the Google form will be up very soon. Answer it tonight or answer it tomorrow. There's no rush on it. By the end of the week, I'd love for us to get some Team Cup teams finalized. So make sure you do that. The second part, before you go to bed tonight, I want you to send 5 more invites. Even if you hit your quota, send 5 more invites. I know a couple people have free groups going. I have one going. Invite to something. Invite to, join you at the bar and to Zoom with you one morning. Invite to a phone call just to talk. Invite to something. Invite to a conversation. It doesn't always have to be inviting to fitness and nutrition. Just invite to a conversation if you don't know what to do. But the most important one, the inviting is really important. I want you to think about the imposter wheel that I just talked about. And I want you to take action in one of those zones tonight. So maybe it's personal development has fallen by the wayside. Tonight, you're going to commit to what that book is, what that podcast is. You're going to queue it up. You're going to send me a screenshot. This is what you're reading or listening to. Maybe it's the comparison game on social media and you have to unfollow a couple people. Fine, do it. Unfollow those people. Maybe you need to go spend some time shuffling the affirmation cards or writing your awesome list like Rachel Hollis suggests. Whatever it is, pick one of the things on that wheel. I know not one of us on this call is perfect. I know not one of us on this call can say we have mastered imposter syndrome and it never creeps in. Impossible. Impossible. So just pick one and take action on it tonight, whatever that means. Write down why you're freaking amazing and the things that you've done that are proof that you're freaking amazing. If you're in a really good headspace, then do that one. That would be great. And if anybody wants to throw that in the chat, that would be awesome as well. If you want to say what it is that you're doing, or if you have a book or podcast to recommend. So that's that. Class dismissed once you've done your action items, or if you need to go, you're free to do that as well. I don't own you. And again, another special thank you to Leslie and Jackie for what they've started. I'm really excited to hear about it. I am really grateful to see so many faces or names on the call, no matter what your positioning is at home. It's just lovely to have you guys here. And if you're watching the recording, all of this still applies to you. So make sure you do the action items. Make sure you fill in that form if you're looking for a Team Cup team. So we make sure that no tribe member is left behind. And if you have a coach who has not been on the call, encourage them to join a Team Cup team. There's nothing wrong with stepping out of your comfort zone and just doing something big for 1 month. And it's a short month, so you don't have to feel the pressure for long. All right, everybody, I'm going to stop the recording and then hang out while I finish my action.